Hello, I'm Corinne Drexel, and on behalf of the Rocky Mountain Philatelic Library, I would like to welcome you to our video, Jewish National Fund, Labels with a Purpose. In this segment, we will explore the 110-year history of the labels, certificates, and booklets that the JNF issued for the purpose of raising funds to benefit Jewish ideals. Throughout the video, we will use Christian dates due to their greater familiarity in most of the world. Let's get started. In 2001, a commemorative cover was issued honoring the 100th anniversary of the Jewish National Fund, also known by its Hebrew name as Kerem Kayemet LeYisrael, founded in Basel, Switzerland. Its purpose was to buy land in Palestine. The JNF initially headquartered in Vienna. Its first project involved the printing of labels that were distributed worldwide, showing the Star of David and the name Zion. Labels differ from postage stamps in that they are issued by non-governmental entities and are not recognized by the Universal Postal Union for postage purposes. 3 printings of the first labels were created. The first labels were distributed to 6 countries: England, America, Romania, Russia, France, and Austria-Hungary. In the second printing, more countries were added, with letters signifying the countries in which they were distributed. The letter A in the series salvage standing for America. In the third printing, more countries were added, with H representing Holland. After 1907, the headquarters moved to Cologne, Germany. 6 Theodor Herzl labels were printed, color-coded by country: England brown, the United States gray-green, Russia light green, Germany brown, Austria-Hungary blue, and France red. Herzl is considered the father of Zionism. Labels continued when the JNF moved to The Hague in Amsterdam in 1915. Their themes shifted after World War I to Palestine views, reflecting the aspirations of many Jews worldwide. In 1917, Arthur Balfour, British Foreign Minister, issued a proclamation that Jews were entitled to a national homeland. In 1927, labels were issued honoring the 10th anniversary of the Balfour Declaration. During the intervening years, in 1921, the JNF had relocated to Jerusalem. Fundraising took another form as well. The most familiar became the famed blue boxes, known as pushkas. They began after the 5th Zionist Congress, during which Herzl removed his hat and asked for donations. 2 weeks later, the first pushka appeared. The donations were sought to purchase land in Eretz Yisrael, the ancient kingdom of Israel at its height. Stamped with the words National Fund, the original cardboard blue box evolved into tin boxes that were distributed across the globe. Labels commemorated those blue tin boxes. Fundraising served as a unifying force for Jews throughout the world, turning charity for land purchases into a communal act. The JNF had purchased 50,000 acres of land for Jewish settlement. Immigrant children attending classes while farming became one of the uses of the purchased land. By the 25th anniversary of the JNF in 1926, reforestation had become a limited goal. JNF reforestation certificates became another means of raising funds. Reforestation allowed for the creation of the Forest for the 6 million victims of German concentration camps, the Mother's Day Forest, and others. Agricultural development was another focus of land acquisition, with JNF donated funds used to establish farming units. Communal and cooperative settlements such as kibbutzim and moshavim were built on JNF land. After 1929, contribution booklets for specific events were created by the JNF New York office for Flower Day. In the early days, these booklets were issued without values so that donors could enter whatever value they chose to donate. Contribution booklets were also issued for Tag Day, These booklets contain 20 pages of receipts of the same value in denominations of 5 cents, 10 cents, and 25 cents. Puzzle label books were introduced in 1931. They consisted of 2 panes of 6 labels each. When the 12 labels were separated and rearranged, they formed a map of the ancient kingdom of Israel. The 1937 Aliyah Immigration to Palestine labels were used on immigration certificates issued by the British. They were embossed with a design showing a house and 2 palm trees in a Star of David. JNF letter cards were sold in 1939. They were issued for the Jewish New Year in various designs. The JNF also issued postcards, as well as 4 groups of commemorative envelopes, including shy gift covers and the most popular philatelic covers. Due to the turmoil in the aftermath of World War II, Britain decided to leave Palestine. This allowed Palestine's neighbors to send occupying forces into the area. With all these forces in Palestine and no central postal system, the Jews decided to use JNF labels as postage stamps. During the period April 14th to May 15th, 1948, JNF labels became postage stamps. The British Postal Administration was phasing out of service. As the Jewish People's Administration, the Menahelet Ha'am, was authorizing the use of JNF labels as postage stamps. The Jewish word for postage, doar, was overprinted on JNF labels during the interim period. The confusion that a person could find themselves in during that interim period is reflected in this cover. On May 4, 1948, the State of Israel was declared. Mail service was in chaos. 1 letter could be posted with mandate period stamps, while the JNF labels with doar overprints could be added, and the first Israeli state doar Ivri issue might also be found. After the 1948 fighting for the War of Independence, letter cards were provided to Jews serving in the Israeli Defense Forces. After the War of Independence, JNF labels reverted to their original status as labels. Thereafter, they tended to be associated with sentiments that were near and dear to Jewish hearts, including the development of Jewish land, high holidays, and famous Jewish personalities. This Israeli stamped envelope shows land in Israel. It contained a JNF certificate for land given by the parents of an engaged couple. The certificate is dated November 8, 1953. By the 1950s, many Jews recognized the invaluable service that reforestation was doing for Israel. Only 1% of Palestine was forested in 1900, with more forested land added by the 1950s. The planting of trees became an objective that all understood, with the JNF labels continuing to serve as a vehicle to overcome the barren landscape. Labels became a convenient tool for reminding everyone worldwide of the homeland's goals. This label was used in Germany and reads "Plant Life." Another significant project involving the land was the Hula Valley Reclamation. It involved the draining of the malaria-infested marshes of the Hula Valley, turning it into the fertile agricultural land and nature reserve of the Jordan Valley. By the mid-1960s, the reforestation effort was beginning to pay handsome dividends, and by the turn of the 21st century, 7% of Israel's landmass was considered forest land. The JNF reports that over 250 million trees have been planted since 1901, totaling over 400 square miles of forest added to Israel's once bleak vistas. Another step in the process of reforestation took the form of JNF Israeli tree certificates given to households donating more than $10 to the fund. Donors received a certificate dedicated in memory of whomsoever the donor wished, detailing the location of the planted tree. Tourists bearing those certificates are frequently seen seeking out their specific trees. And the reforestation continues, as national plans supported by the Israeli government call for expansion of forested lands through the year 2130. The JNF Labels collection is a small part of the Judaica Special Collection at the Rocky Mountain Philatelic Library. The Judaica collection contains a host of specialized materials on the philately of Palestine, the Ottoman Empire, British Mandate, and the State of Israel. It also explores worldwide Judaica, including in-depth materials of Jewish personalities and the Holocaust in the form of stamps and postal history. Our thanks to both Dasha Metzler, curator of the Judaica Special Collection at the Rocky Mountain Philatelic Library, and to its president, Sergio Lugo, for their contributions to this video. For more information on JNF materials, we invite you to visit the Judaica Special Collection at the RMPL in Denver. On behalf of the RMPL, I would like to thank you for watching and hope that you will join us in future RMPL videos.